So in this video, I just wanted to go over the song Forget Not, which was actually my debut single, and I decided to put it in the Lost Shores EP because I feel like it almost carried the same tonal character as the rest of the songs on the album. So I figured I might as well go through and kind of explain what I did to get these sounds. These are actually all audio files, so I have a few of the MIDI files from the original recordings, so I might go into that a little bit. But I have deactivated the plugins and stuff just because I used a lot of Omnisphere stuff, so the CPU load on my computer was actually pretty high. Hence the audio files that I just bounced out. So I'll go through part by part and kind of explain what I thought when I did it, and here we go. So my first thing I always do whenever I do these projects is I start with just a blank ambient string patch in Omnisphere. And this is that sound. So I'm gonna load up the Omnisphere patch, and I'm not gonna play it from Omnisphere, but I want to get an idea of what actually I used. So if I load this up, it's the Dreamy String Orchestra, straight default patch, nothing really affected after opening it up. And I played it on the keyboard, and the idea was to not have any kind of tempo or any kind of melody, really. So that was the string orchestra that I had, and I always separate the bass part, or the lowest notes in that. And I separated that because it would give me free access to kind of like EQ the bass alone and adjust volume independently from the rest of the strings. And this string patch, let's see what I used. Let's open it up. I think it's just gonna be, oh, interesting. It's not. It's actually an Omnisphere patch. Typically I'd use Contact for that, for just like another thing. So I used Hybrid Warm String Section for the bass. And I think the bass actually sounds really smooth and rounded. So next thing up is this next thing is called the Space Pad, and all this is just like you'd expect, just like another airy drone pad. So there's really only a few elements that make the songs that I do. So it's going to be probably like a string patch, or maybe like a little horn section playing the same notes and same chords as the strings. I separate the bass part, so that's the second part as well. A light distant pad with a lot of reverb is probably the third part, and then it's just a couple of guitar swell slides. And I can even manipulate those to stretch them out over the length of a song, which kind of creates a different type of texture rather than just playing a long guitar part. So that's the third part I used, and it's kind of impressive that I could do all of this with just only 5 tracks in Logic. So I don't want anyone to have to think, oh, I need 60 files or 60 tracks in Logic to make a project sound big. This is 5. So this is where I first actually started using these slide reversed parts. I love that. It just sounds like whales. I have a whole orchestra of whales to record, basically. Now the next part, I titled it Reverse Bends, because what I did is I would bend notes up to an octave, so on the B and G strings of my guitar, up 2 frets, you just bend the notes, and then as you unbend it, it creates a dissonance, because you're, I don't know, 11 semitones is like, or I guess it's 1 semitone difference. It's gonna be like such a noticeable dissonance that sounds almost like a horn. Sounds cool. But that's kind of what I did for the entire song on this part. Sounds a little bit like a siren of some sort, but it almost adds a different feeling to the track, because it adds tension, because it is that dissonance. so much of this track is just how it blends with the rest of the instrumentation. So like the guitar parts, they're blending and is like it's almost dissolving. So as one guitar part comes in, the strings are taking over that, and it's almost like this constant trade-off of instrumentation. So you have the reversed bend guitar parts coming in, and then as soon as that fades out, a reversed slide part comes in. So here's just the guitar parts. It's pretty cool. And that's kind of everything I did to make Forget Not. And this is one of my first releases, and I really appreciate, you know, I did spend quite a bit of time on this one, and it really inspired me to create the rest of this entire album. Just the sounds and textures I got from this, I really just threw paint on a canvas, and I'm like, that looks pretty good. So I hope to keep making more stuff like this, and it's just more, it feels more contemplative, like you're thinking more, and you don't have to focus on the music. So a lot of my friends will say, like, I listen to that while I read, and I think that's cool. It just helps eliminate distractions, which is cool. So yeah, let's move on to the next project. I think the next one is going to be Expanse. It's a good one.